remember this day as long as we live and for future generations.
October 26, 1994. It was on that sunny day and in the presence of U.S. President Bill Clinton that Israeli Prime Minister Yitzhak Rabin and King Hussein of Jordan signed the historic peace agreement between their two nations that had been enemies until then.
Shalom, salam, peace.
20 years have passed since the signature and much has changed. The relationship between the two has had to face many challenges, most of which were caused by the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The peace treaty seems to have become quite unpopular among Jordanians, but it still remains a strategic alliance that both parties are determined to maintain. The relationship has even gotten stronger recently as Jerusalem and Amman bonded over their common enemy, IS. Israel and Jordan also cooperate in the economic, environmental, and energy fields. 20 years later, many say there is still no better neighbor for Israel. Our focus this week is on Jordan. To our focus on Jordan. In light of the 20th anniversary of the Israeli-Jordanian peace treaty, we decided to travel to Amman and bring you an even closer focus this time, an end to the age of wars. This was the declaration of former Jordanian Prime Minister Dr. Abdelsalam al-Majali, who signed the peace treaty back then. And that's a great opportunity to hear his insights with a more contemporary perspective.
Hello, Dr. Abdelsalam al-Majali, and thank you so much for hosting us in Amman today on the 20th anniversary for the Israeli-Jordanian peace agreement. I would like to start with some news. I would like to ask you, according to a report in a Kuwaiti newspaper, al-Jarida, Kuwaiti, Prime Minister Netanyahu and King Abdullah have met in Amman 3 days ago to discuss the escalation in East Jerusalem. And I wanted to ask you, what is your personal point of view regarding the latest occurrences, developments in East Jerusalem and at the Temple Mount? And how or could it endanger maybe the Israeli-Jordanian relationship?
Well, I am sure it should affect it, and in a very bad way, because all of us now, we are suffering from this intrusion, especially by fanatics and trying to push their own ideas, forgetting that there is a peace treaty and forgetting 1 billion Muslims who believe this is their whole shrine, to let the fanatic people go and do all sorts of. So, Prime Minister is responsible, and the holy places are mentioned clearly in the peace treaty, and once it has been touched, the whole Jordanian people will be very, very angry and will not take it easily, because this is not the first time, unfortunately, that Israel break it.
Let's go back to the peace treaty 20 years ago. What was your personal feeling on that particular moment of signing? Did it feel like we're making history?
I'm sure we were making history, and we were hoping that the future will be brighter than the past. Unfortunately, it did not reach some of our expectation from that, because there were a lot of promises about development, about trade, about air transport, and unfortunately, Israel now and again change their ways and their looks, and they use all sorts of reasons to do this and that and the other, which hurts us.
Why was it the right time for Jordan to sign the peace treaty back then, 20 years ago?
For a long, long time, we believe in peace. Our late King Abdullah believed in peace. King Hussein believed in peace. We believe in peace because we are not aggressive people. And we thought that our goals will meet with the others needing peace. But unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't. And every time a new settlement takes place on the West Bank, it hurts us here. You know, as if you have given a big shot of something. So we
sounds like a disappointment on your hand.
Disappointment, and it makes irritation. People go in the street sometimes or in the paper criticizing why do we have the peace treaty with Israel. So it has to change. And the most unfortunate thing, I always say, that Israel and their leadership build a philosophy that the Arabs will not kneel down but by force. So this is not true. The Arabs, you can get to them by saying something nice, by being kind, by being realistic, not by being forceful and using force.
But, you know, regarding the Palestinian issue with Israel, some might claim that maybe we should wait. Waiting time might be the only reasonable, reasonable solution right now. And maybe in a few years from now, who knows, maybe 10 years, maybe 20, the conditions will mature. Maybe, you know, the international conditions. And then it will be the right time to sign a deal.
Whenever you can solve the problem right there and then, it is much better than leaving it late, because maybe circumstances getting worse and more blood is going to be shed. Israel is there, we are here, we have to live together. The Palestinians have to live. I don't think Israel will be ever successful in getting rid of 5-6 million Palestinians on what they call political Palestine. Neither the Palestinians will do the same. So if this is a fact, we have to come and talk to each other and solve it.
How do you see the role of Jordan in the Israeli-Palestinian dialogue? Should Jordan maybe try to intervene more, try to mediate, or that Jordan, in your opinion, maybe has interest in the region so it cannot operate as an honest mediator?
Well, Jordan has done it all the way through. That mediation with Israel, even before the peace and even before 48. They've always tried, but unfortunately, not very successful. And certainly we feel it is our responsibility to go on and pressing for peace. So what is happening in Jerusalem is not just affecting Jordan. We are more blamed than our people because we are the nearest and we made the peace treaty and it is mentioned in the peace treaty itself.
During Operation Protective Edge, the last Gaza war 3 months ago, Israel did not hear very harsh and direct criticism coming from either Jordan or other Arab countries.
What happened in Gaza, we were absolutely against it. It is violence, it is killing, it's blood. Whoever the cause, it doesn't matter. But it is terrible. It is terrible in all measures. But we are not that people to go and shout and open fire and so on and so forth. One has to be more wise, talk nicely, try, push. And we have succeeded in pushing that on the quiet.
Dr. Abdelsalam al-Majali, thank you so much. I think it's a very interesting, important note to close this interview with. Thank you so much for hosting us.
And now, what else is going on in Jordan?
The unemployment rate in Jordan dropped by close to 1% in the third quarter of 2014, reaching 11.4% according to the Jordanian Department of Statistics. The drop was attributed to employment policies in the public and private sector, which contributed to providing more job opportunities for Jordanians. The Higher Council for Science and Technology in Jordan declared in a conference this week that the country's oil reserves rank 5th in the world in terms of quantity. The council also added that the reserves could cover Jordan's oil needs for no less than 275 years. Jordan recently signed a €20 million agreement with Germany's KfW Bank. The agreement is intended to help Jordan cope with the effects of climate change in the water sector. Germany said it is keen to offer more support to Jordan, especially in light of the current situation in the region. Jordanian runner Mithqal Abadi was crowned champion of the 42-kilometer full marathon at the Samsung Marathon in Amman. Abadi completed the race within 2 hours, 26 minutes and 7 seconds. Over 12,000 runners participated in the event.
The agreements, Israel and Jordan opened their borders, allowing tourists, businessmen and workers to travel between the two countries. In 1996, the two nations signed a trade treaty. And here's one successful example of the Israeli-Jordanian cooperation. We're joined by Yuval Yacobi from the Jordan Gateway and Industrial Park and a free trade zone nearby the Sheikh Hussein Bridge. Hey, Yuval. Hi.
Hi.
So what exactly is this shared initiative and when did it first start?
Hi. The Jordan Gateway project is a joint industrial park and free zone where Jordanians and Israelis can walk together. No visa, no passport, easy entrance and exit of both people and goods. It started back in the late 90s, where elements from the private sector in both countries joined up and with the support of both governments tried to establish an industrial park on both sides of the border. One part of the park would be on the Jordanian soil, the other in Israeli soil, and a bridge connecting the two will facilitate for joint product, joint creation of value, people working together, exporting all through to the West, to the United States and Europe, to the Far East, to the Arab world. This was the vision.
Sounds very nice, but what are the difficulties in working on such a two-nation project?
I would say that the first and foremost difficulty is to raise the support of the governments in the right timing. And unfortunately, in our project, there has been times where one government was more eager than the other, and then vice versa. But right now, we feel we have a breakthrough, and inshallah soon we will see the project maturing to materialization of the entire vision.
And Yuval, from your personal perspective, can business and economy be a common ground for a political peace, or the opposite? Should there first be a political peace and only then business and economy might flourish?
I would say from my personal experience and from the project experience that one has to do with the other. We as business people and as people who are interested in economic development, we cannot wait for the politicians, because if we did, we wouldn't do anything. On the other end, we believe that successful development stories or economic stories such as the Jordan Gateway can create a good atmosphere and create and facilitate for a good infrastructure for the politicians to take it further and further normalize or create further opportunities for other business people, and then for the benefit of both nations.
So Yuval, what is your future crazy dream regarding the Israeli-Jordanian relationship?
I want to see a bridge, and I want to see people, Jordanian people, coming in the morning with their car, entering the free zone without passport, without visa, crossing to the Israeli side of the park. Then we see the Israeli people do the same. They can see the production of certain unique goods that are going whether through Israeli ports, Haifa and Ashdod, going to the west, or through Aqaba to the Far East, or by land to the Arab world. This is my vision. People make money, people do business, people create job opportunities.
Thank you so much, Yuval. A very inspiring dream, very inspiring job. Keep it up. Over the past weekend, millions of people around the world got dressed up and went trick-or-treating for Halloween. But not the Jordanians. Isn't it right, Danielle Ziri?
Absolutely right, Tal. Not Jordanians. And the reason for that is actually, believe it or not, that the Jordanian government has banned Halloween this year. Yes, because it threatens national security, according to them. Jordanians have been told that they could not engage or participate in any sort of activity surrounding Halloween.
Wow.
Pretty shocking, I know. The Jordanian Home Ministry actually explained that the ban is meant to prevent a repeat of rioting that had happened in Amman during Halloween for the last 2 years. The Jordanian government actually faced a lot of pressure coming from fundamentalist groups such as the Muslim Brotherhood in the country, who has called Halloween a satanic and homosexual event. The organization has condemned anyone who would take part in the event, and the festivities, and have asked that even those partygoers be tried in court for it.
Wow.
The whole thing became such an important issue that even the U.S. Embassy in Jordan decided to issue a warning to its citizens who would perhaps like to throw a party. And I quote, U.S. citizens should expect police reaction, including arrests, at any public Halloween-themed event. The U.S. Embassy advises that U.S. citizens traveling from their home to a Halloween party or vice versa, cover up their costumes while in public or in a car. So, of course, Jordanians actually, took to the internet and protested this ban.
I'm assuming this made some Jordanians be very upset.
Absolutely. Lots of reactions were posted on social media, like Twitter, for example. People said that the ban was completely insane. One person even tweeted, "What's next? Are you going to ban women from driving?" So for them, it's really quite a question of freedom. And besides the tweets, there were also some cartoons online and some outraged bloggers who posted on their blogs, and a few even courageous people who defied the ban and still got dressed up and even organized parties at home. So there was a lot of rebellion, a sort of rebellion from Jordanians to save Halloween this year.
Wow. Danielle Ziri, thank you so much for this crazy story. What's for you, trick or treat?
I would go for the treat.
All right. Back in the 1950s, Israeli youth who perhaps had more courage than prudence tried to sneak across the border and reach the site in Petra known as the Red Rock. It wasn't always easy and it wasn't always safe. Now, thanks to the peace treaty with Jordan, it's both. All you have to do is buy a ticket. Next week, Focus will give you a ticket to another country, that's for sure.